pages were set in lead, and people used typewriters and telephones, with hardwired telephones. And, even in the time I've worked on this story, there's been this extraordinary transformation. I mean, I can now go online and see myself being abused in real time. It's possible now for somebody, well, let me be very blunt about it, for some drunken buffoon in their bedroom to set up a website claiming to be a child vaccine protection group and publish the most extraordinary defamatory fabrications and have those taken up by bloggers and whoever else, other people pretending to be well, they set up that with vaccines, they give themselves all kinds of extraordinary names, like the sort of International Vaccine Safety Group and God knows what else. And if you can build a fairly professional-looking web page, people will take you seriously. And that is a transformation. That is, the new technologies we saw played a role. I think everyone now accepts played a role in the fall of the President of Egypt. And I think probably with all our sympathies would say, well, good. But at the same time, those self-same forces are able to spread falsehoods, make malicious attacks on people, denigrate reputations, and that's another side of it. And I found that to be quite strange. And people, just the simple fact of email. I mean, you can nowadays wake up in the morning and find somebody just abusing you. I mean, I've seen it. It's not just people like me, but it occurs. Sometimes you see kids going on who make little YouTubes. I don't know if you ever look at YouTubes where sometimes you get people just do their vlogs and they just talk directly to camera. And sometimes they're the most engaging when they have no music, no gimmicks, they're not pretending to do anything, they just tell you about something in their life. And some of those are incredibly engaging. Those kind of people who do that very often themselves are targeted by nasty people out there who want to be abusive towards others. Years ago, when we lived in a village society before urbanisation, people could be nasty in their community, people could work out their hatreds on the people around them. Today, those kind of people, and there are people out there who want to be nasty, who want to make people unhappy, can find each other and form international networks of abuse. And that's one of the things that's happened over vaccines in particular. And the victims, you then have the other side of that, is the victims of that are parents who perhaps have children who do have developmental disorders and who then go online, and just as my website has this advertising which is highly targeted, each page of my website has different advertising. The advertising is targeted to the words on the page. So if the story is about something in, say, finance, the advertising will all be about investments. If it's about a health issue, the advertising. So all the way that the technology is now able to do that kind of targeting is the same kind of targeting that parents do when they want to find out why their child is autistic. They go online and they are through that, although not in large massified numbers which traditional media appeal to, quite small numbers, they're able to be targeted directly to these drunken buffoons and these nasty people and these people peddling their ideas and take on board that information and be harmed by it. Because the vaccine thing, to me, one of the things I have noticed, it is a crank magnet as a subject. One of the other classic crank magnets was the idea that HIV does not cause AIDS, that AIDS is not an infectious disease, it's all created by the drug industry or whatever else. That's another classic crank magnet, and MMR is like that. So it's like a marketplace that brings together the cranks and the people who want to be nasty and the people who've got axes to grind with the consumers, parents of children with autism, parents thinking about vaccinating their child, brings them together and is a vortex for the dissemination of confusion and unhappiness. And that is a totally new thing. In previous vaccine scares, big media, the big newspapers and the big television networks were able to say, here's a vaccine scare, children may be being injured by a vaccine. A few years later, no, it's not true, the vaccines are safe, and everybody moves on. And the people out there are not communicating with each other, take the message and the scare is gone. Now, the scare is kept alive by this new environment. The BMJ, inundated with complaints. The CBC, when they found that I'm appearing on the Sunday talk show, inundated with emails complaining, accusing me of being a crook and God knows what else. So there's this completely new environment where, you know, you have this whole other area of work to do. You have to do your story, and you may have to do your blog, and you may have to like film something and do a radio clip and all that kind of shit, and then you get all these emails you have to deal with as well. Completely different to how it was when I had a typewriter and when the Sunday Times was set in lead.
Sounds bitter about the future.
Really quick.
Yeah. Where's the point where you felt your work turned a corner? Where you knew, okay, now we have enough evidence, we've got it.
The greatest day, and was one of the greatest, most pleasant, my happiest day in the year. This shows what a sad life it is. This kind of work. What a sad, sad life it is when I could be going to like film reviews or, you know, doing pieces on cookery or writing about restaurant food. Was in the High Court at the end of 2005 when Mr. Justice Eadie told Wakefield that he could not suspend his litigation, have it stayed, but he must continue to sue me. To sit there, and I was surrounded, the Channel 4 people, they had me sitting in the middle, and they had all their people, like a little network around me, saying to the judge, we support this man. This is the person who has made this programme. We support him. He's sitting in the middle of us. And the judge found for me, and Wakefield's lawyers, I mean, they were just absolutely stunned. And it was a wonderful moment. It was a sad life, I suppose, for me, for that to be the big thing of 2005. But that was the turning point, when he could not get out of this confrontation. Because that man is a bully, and sometimes in your life, if you do this kind of journalism, you will come up against bullies. And he bullied local media. Other media who'd come up against him would apologise immediately. If they said something he didn't like, his lawyers would get onto him and threaten a lawsuit and apologise immediately. And we took him on, and even at that time back, we beat him. So from that point on, I knew he was going to lose, and somehow or other this story, wherever it would ultimately lead, would come out